Hi, everybody. It's December 16th. Halfway through the month already. We're into the second half, and we are working through our Advent devotion or Advent readings through the Gospel of Luke. And I'm using my Lectio Divina Bible, which is a common English translation. This one is. And yeah, we're going through a chapter each night. And I'm glad you could join me. Here is chapter 16 Faithfulness with Money. Jesus also said to the disciples, "A certain rich man heard that his household manager was wasting his estate. He called the manager in and said to him, 'What is this I hear about you? Give me a report of your administration because you can no longer serve as my manager.' The household manager said to himself, 'What will I do now that my master is firing me as a manager? I'm not strong enough to dig and too proud to beg. I know what I'll do, so that when I am removed from my management position, people will welcome me into their houses.' One by one, the manager sent for each person who owed his master money. He said to the first, 'How much do you owe my master?' He said, 900 gallons of olive oil. The manager said to him, 'Take your contract, sit down quickly, and write 450 gallons. Then the manager said to another, 'How much do you owe?' He said, 1,000 bushels of wheat. He said, 'Take your contract and write 800. The master commended the dishonest manager because he acted cleverly. People who belong to this world are more clever in dealing with their peers than are people who belong to the light. I tell you, use worldly wealth to make friends for yourselves so that when it's gone, you will be welcomed into the eternal homes. Whoever is faithful with little is also faithful with much, and the one who is dishonest with a little is also dishonest with much. If you haven't been faithful with worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? If you haven't been faithful with someone else's property, who will give you your own? No household servant can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be loyal to the one and have contempt for the other. You cannot serve God and wealth." Jesus' response to the Pharisees. The Pharisees, who were money lovers, heard all this and sneered at Jesus. He said to them, "You are the ones who justify yourselves before other people, but God knows your hearts. What is highly valued by people is deeply offensive to God. Until John, there was only the law and the prophets. Since then, the good news of God's kingdom is preached, and everyone is urged to enter it. It is easier for heaven and earth to pass away than for the smallest stroke of a pen in the law to drop out. Any man who divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery, and a man who marries a woman divorced from her husband commits adultery. There was a certain rich man who clothed himself in purple and fine linen, and who feasted luxuriously every day. At his gate lay a certain poor man named Lazarus, who was covered with sores. Lazarus longed to eat the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. Instead, dogs would come and lick his sores. The poor man died and was carried by angels to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried. While being tormented in the place of the dead, he looked up and saw Abraham at a distance with Lazarus at his side. He shouted, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I'm suffering in this flame." But Abraham said, "Child, remember that during your lifetime you received good things, whereas Lazarus received terrible things. Now Lazarus is being comforted, and you are in great pain. Moreover, a great crevice has been fixed between you and us. Those who wish to cross over from here to you cannot. Neither can anyone cross from there to us." The rich man said, "Then I beg you, Father, send Lazarus to my father's house. I have 5 brothers. He needs to warn them so that they don't come to this place of agony." Abraham replied, "They have Moses and the prophets. They must listen to them." The rich man said, "No, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they will change their hearts and lives." Abraham said, "If they don't listen to Moses and the prophets, then neither will they be persuaded if someone rises from the dead. Jesus tells the second and third parables about a rich man. The first was in chapter 12, 16 to 21. There's a lot about money and social power in the Gospel of Luke. That's something that we've noticed as a theme already through it. A lot about money and social power. And what is Jesus telling us about that? Cautioning us about money and feeling that we have social power. Our prayer is, Dear God, I ask for the grace to keep our eyes, and our hearts fixed on you. Amen. And our action on chapter 16, that's the end of our readings of chapter 16. Our action is, in planning your life according to God's will, try to be single-hearted and do not try to worry about the disapproval that such a way of life might elicit from family and friends. Been a long day. Let me read that to you again. In planning your life according to God's will, try to be single-hearted and do not worry about the disapproval that such a way of life might elicit from family and friends. Between you and the Lord. All right, that's chapter 16. Have a great night, and we will talk to you tomorrow.